Hello, everyone. Hello. Hi. Can everybody quickly put a hi or hello in the chat box? Thank you. Hi, Shamli. Hi, how are you? So, let us see how many of us are there in today's session. I'm expecting people should come and discuss. I'm looking forward to all of you, to meet all of you. All right. So meanwhile, all others they join. So the today's session primarily is of much of the relevance for the people. Uh, Hi, Sapna. Hi. Uh, who are into research. Okay. So before we move ahead to the main session, let me introduce about myself to all of you. Myself, Dr. Renu Mishra, and I'm a management educationist. I'm currently based in Dubai. I'm teaching here, and I'm associated with the research graduate as one of their expert. And also I'm practicing trainers wherein I deliver trainings on research and other corporate modules. Okay. And as far as the teaching facade is concerned, so I am primarily inclined towards teaching HR modules, and I'm taking the module research modules for PhDs and those who are into their foundation work and coursework. Okay. So that was about myself. And let me give you a brief about research graduate as well. See, this institute, this organization, I think it draws my attention because this is such entity which helps the researchers from overcoming the barriers which we face during our research journey. So if I tell you about my journey when I was doing my PhD, which I did from Jamia Hamdard, so there were so many things, there were so many concerns which I never used to have an answer with. So thankfully there is a place like research graduate who can on whom we can trust upon. Hello, Priyanka. On whom we can trust upon, and we can give our research responsibilities to them so that they can partner us, they can shoulder us in sharing our research stress, in sharing our research worries. Okay. All right. So, coming back to what we are here for today. So, we are here today for discussion about a very important aspect of research, and that is called as how we find about a research title. Okay. And how we write about the background of the study. Very good afternoon, Mr. Sunil. Very good afternoon. So, see, being a researcher, I have often seen many people, right? Many researchers, I'm sure many of you also must be undergoing the same stress that what to work upon. Yeah. I mean, what can be the appropriate area? Hello, Mr. Ivan. What can be the appropriate area where I can start my work with? Okay. So this question has been shared to me by many of my research students. In fact, many of my fellow colleagues also, where we are looking forward to write on something, write some or the paper or the other. Similar situation was I was facing. Hello, Vikramaditya. I was facing when I was thinking about to start my or to begin my research quest. Hello, Mr. Pravash, right? So the one question which comes to our mind is research topic, like what to work upon. I'm sure all those research enthusiasts, all those research fellow of mine must be either going through this question or they have faced this question, right? This question gives sleepless nights, enormous stress and worries, and it takes time for us to answer. Okay. To begin with, I'll tell you that the area with which we want to begin our research journey is called as topic. Like, somebody wants to work in financial audit, somebody wants to work in understanding consumer behavior, somebody wants to understand the Hindi literature of India, somebody wants to work upon the English literature, somebody wants to work upon the area of human resource management, and so on. So when we talk about topic, it is a wider domain. Okay. Yes, Shamli, I'm sure that by the end of the session you will be able to answer your question, and it will be my pleasure to contribute to your query. Hello, Mr. Singh. So when we are struggling with this stage, that what to work upon, that means we are trying to identify our topic, that what we want to work upon. Hello, Professor. That's called as topic. When we want to talk about what we want our study to be characterized as, to be identified as, that is called as title. Like, people know me by the name of Dr. Renu Mishra. Okay, so Renu Mishra is that title given to this individual. Okay, and similarly the name which you give to your research work, irrespective it is a theory paper, it is a thesis, irrespective, your name given to your work is title. Okay, so firstly, it's very important for every researcher, no matter we are teaching or we are just researcher, right? Like, we are in the academics field already, then also we need to write papers. So no matter whatever our stage is, we need to give a careful thought about what we need to write about. Okay, now let me begin the slides to have a better interaction. Okay, I hope the screen is visible to everybody. So this is what we are beginning up. So today after having a brief warm up session with all of you, let me welcome you all to the live webinar wherein we'll be talking about how to formulate a title and a background of the study. All right. As I told you about the information, what I wanted to portray about a very interesting entity, that is research graduate, that how research graduate, how we come to help you scholars in the following area. Like, we help you to straight from the scratch, that is topic selection, till the end, till the time you complete your study, that is editing, proofreading. So not only with the help of these kind of webinars, but also you can rest assured, you can lay upon your interest to our researchers, to our expert, so that you can I can ensure you that yes, our experts will be there to help you if you need uh, any kind of solution related to any kind of field of services which are listed upon on the screen. Okay. All right. So if you want to connect it through me or through research graduate, following is are the details. Okay. So you can connect us with the given email ID and the given number. And as far as if I say that what will be our webinar structure for today, so I'll be presenting you for another 90 minutes. I'll be with you for another 90 minutes where I'll be speaking, and the rest remaining 30 minutes will be dedicated for you asking your queries, questions, and I hope I'll be able to answer them. Okay. As far as the PPTs and the certificates are concerned, everything will be emailed to you by the time the webinar ends. All right. All right. So let us, start the webinar. Okay. So when I talk about that, what should be the agenda, what can you expect in this webinar? So I'll be starting right from the scratch, which every researcher struggles with. I'll help you that how to identify and what you should consider when you are identifying a research topic. Then moving on to research title, how you list out the keywords, what factors you should consider when you are formulating a research title, and then we will take the discussion towards the background of the study. Okay, I hope you all are good to go. All right. Now, The question comes that what should be done while talking about a research topic. Okay, I'm so sorry about these mismanagement of the word. I think that technology has overpowered human being in some or the other aspect. Okay, nevertheless, I hope it's clear. So when we are talking about research topic, okay, so this is the approach which personally I also follow, and I also believe that yes, it does work. Whenever you are at a stage that what I should work upon, which topic I should take, then make sure that these 5 W's approach works like wonder. At least I have seen it for my case, and I have seen many of my colleagues or the students following this approach, and they are successfully doing fairly good, right? So, first of all, is why you want to choose a particular topic. Okay, let's say, for example, any professor, anyone is there. So he is a marketing professor. Let me come and see to you all. So he is a marketing professor, right? So automatically there is an inclination. Okay, so there is an inclination towards following about the topics which are related to marketing. That goes without saying, right? If I'm in a human resource professional, so my interest automatically go in marketing. That need not to have any reasoning that why not. Great. Then when I say if somebody is teaching in marketing, then also there are huge number of areas, there are plethora of options available, then what to work upon. Then in that case, what do? We first of all list down the areas of our interest. Like somebody say that, doctor, I'm really interested in working upon understanding the direction of the human behavior, consumer behavior to be particularly, how it has changed over the period of time from physical shopping to digital shopping. Okay, how consumer is feeling trapped under the envelope of this is honestly speaking, this is an off lately article which I have which caught my attention. Although I'm not a marketing person, but this really caught my attention, that some author was talking about that how the customer is feeling unintentionally, unknowingly into the trap of online shopping. Okay, so this way every researcher has its inclination. One point which I'd like to draw your attention towards, that all those who are doing their research, that means who are pursuing their PhD, in their case their research preferences needs to be aligned with their supervisors. Okay, so in that case it's not only about your interest, it's also about your supervisor's interest. Okay, so nevertheless, when you list down your interest, like XYZ, I need to work upon these, then what do? You answer your first why I want to do this, what is so interesting for me to work upon this. So for example, I just said that, that author was talking about that how these consumers are these days unintentionally, unknowingly getting into the falling into the trap of digital shopping. Okay, we never actually think. I When I was going through that article, I was astonished. I was literally thinking, oh my god, really? Yes, I just, without naming the online platform, I just give a click away. I think I'm not going outside since I'm based in Dubai. So here days are quite hot. So although you become little more comfortable in going out, so online shopping comes like a boon. But when I was going through that article, I was coming through so many factors. Exactly, that touch feel factor goes without saying, you are nowhere close to it. Then the after effects, that you need to compare the prices, you need to see the attributes, you can't touch and feel you can't get the tangible feeds of the product, and so on. That article really caught my attention. Okay, so why I'm quoting this example, I want to tell you that whenever you are listing down some topics, kindly sit with yourself, kindly sit with your supervisor and explore those areas. What is there, and on the basis of that accordingly choose your literature review. Okay, Then comes who. Okay. Now, who will be the most possible audience who will get affected by this? Are you writing for any journal? I will writing as a book chapter? Are you going to present at any conference? So, you need to understand the interest of the audience also, because if I am not interested in any particular piece of work, I will not read it. I will not go through it. So it's very important, like every film director, whenever they come up with any movie, they have a kind of audience in their mind. Okay. Not everybody can understand Pehlaz Nilhali's movie, right? Not everybody can understand Steven Spielberg's work. So every director is having a well good understanding that to whom we are talking about, to whom audience we need to cater. So you are the director of your research work. You need to understand that whom we are going to interact. Then come what are the major questions you would like to answer, you would like to revolve around in your piece of information, in your research work. Because unless and until those questions are clear to you, being a researcher, it will become very difficult for you to satisfy your audience. Forget about satisfying your audience, it will be very difficult for you to, in fact, chalk a flow of your research work. So these questions should be very well answered. Okay. Then comes where. This where is basically talks about that at which level you want to address your work. You want to talk about international level, you want to talk about national level, or you want to talk about a local level. Okay, so many studies, for instance, they talk about comparing the employee motivation practices. Exactly, yes, Professor Shivalika, yes. So many studies, they talk about we need to have a comparative study in so and so countries, in so and so organizations. So it needs to be very much clear that what is your uh, level, so where you want to portray, where you want to address your audience. Then last is when is your topic important. Like, for instance, when the pandemic, then when this misery hit the world, then after a while, till the world was actually digesting and understanding that what is happening, after a while, lot of researchers started erupting, understanding about the impact of pandemic on every possible facade, like management, education, literature, manufacturing, automobile, every possible, medicine, not to forget that. Researchers were working day and night. They were trying to come up with researches, they were trying to come up with their work, so that they can elaborate, and so that they can let the world know what is happening on the research aspect. Now, if I choose, and I, let's say for example, I'm studying about impact of COVID on online behavior of online purchase. Dude, there is a lot of work already done. Why will people study about my work? So what I'm talking about is the relevance of your topic, first thing. Second thing is that if you are comparing two periods, for example, you want to study something about which is pre-COVID era, because I say that, since the world has been hit by pandemic, the time zone has been divided into two times: pre-COVID era and post-COVID era, right? So if you want to divide, if you want to let's say compare some particular time, or you want to understand a particular topic at two relevant times in two different places, in two different countries, and so on. So once your topic are being identified, once your topics is able to answer all these w, trust you me, you will be able, you will be sorted out with majority of your issues. Okay. Okay. Now, let's go back to the next slide, please. Now, coming back to naming our work. Okay. So, whenever you're talking about a research title, whenever you are saying that I need to, look upon my research title, make sure it is catchy. It is as good like, if you find an individual with a very unique name, we tend to get impressed by the name, and we tend to find more interest about that individual. No, at least we say that what a unique name, right? I think this absolutely works for a research title as well. So I'm not saying that in order to make it more catchy, you forget about the relevance of the title. Okay. So there should be a perfect balance between your creativity of the title and content of the title. It should not be too lengthy, it should not be too concise. It should be able to gather the interest of your audience. Okay. Let us move ahead. Okay, so when you're talking about selecting a research title, make sure what all are your themes of your study should be reflected. Another is you need to make it captivating for your readers. You know, your reader should make it appealing, should find it understandable. Okay, so language should not be too complicated. Language should not be too easy. You need to make a being a researcher. You need to know how to play around with the language. Okay, then, when we are all set with this homework, let us follow the real action. Okay. Now, the first step is answering some basic questions. Okay. Now, when I say answering some basic question about a paper, let me tell you one thing, that we as a researcher, when we are trying to formulate about our title, then generally in a research paper you can follow a bottom up approach. Like for example, when your work is done, literature review is done, you know, your research methodology is in place, your results are in place, so then after all this is done, your bottom approach, then you can go ahead with your title. Then, you know, title can be finalized at the last. However, when you are talking about your research thesis, okay, obviously, in order to come to that stage where you have your results in hand, it takes time, it does takes time. So in that case, bottom up approach does not generally work, because you need to get your title approved as well. What I suggest when you are talking about your research title for your thesis, that understand your variables very carefully, which you will get only by doing it the literature review. Okay. Let me make it more clear. I hope it is clear. Even if it's not, just listen to me. It's okay. PPTs will be given to you, no problem. I'll share the screen on the white screen. It'll be more clear. I'm not telling you anything from the screen right now. I'm just discussing. So when you're talking about your research thesis, then make sure your theme of your research study should be clearly reflected from your title. Okay. Now, going back by the slides. So there are some questions which you need to answer when you are going to have a title for your paper. So I have taken an example wherein there is a paper in which my paper studies about that how the impact of segmentation of customer lifestyle is there on the purchase behavior, okay, of the customers. So I want to understand the impact of segmentation of customer lifestyle on their purchase behavior, and the region I have chosen is Delhi NCR. I did interviews with them. Okay, that's what I'm saying. So this might not fit well into the research thesis, but in that case, you can have a tentative idea about what is your study going to talk about, what research methodology you will talk about, and who will be your respondents. You can talk about that too. Probably this area you will not be able to answer in your research thesis, but on the basis of above three question also, you can find a title for your research thesis. Okay, so I said that I did interviews, and I generally interviewed about 100 people in Delhi NCR who have born between 1990 and 2010. Okay, so that it is very clear that I want to understand the purchasing behavior of only those people who have the age falling into this criteria. Okay, and since I'm talking about a paper, so I can also include the question about my results, wherein I have found about the positive correlation between consumer lifestyle does impact their buying behavior. Okay, again I'm saying, when you're talking about a research thesis, okay, this section may not be with you, it does not be with you, because before that you need to settle down your title, so you can work upon with this also. Okay, now comes second question. Second step, identify and list the keywords. See, before I go back to this screen, Yes, Shambi, in research, it is very necessary to set more features of data set. Exactly. So, since it is an example, I am sure that everybody knows about the data sets, how your data set will be characterized, what are the different features of it. It's very important for a researcher, especially the one who are going for a thesis. That's why I'm saying, this is very much suitable for research paper. And side by side, I'm telling you that how you can go for your research thesis as well. Okay. Now, the second thing is called as listing the keywords. See, please pay attention. Everyone needs to be very well clear about the keywords. Why? Because these are the keywords which will help your research work to be identified by your audience. First thing. Second things, these keywords will help your audience to understand that what you want to talk about. Okay. For instance, whenever we want to find some articles, so generally we type, for example, I'm talking about, I need to understand the change management in automobile industry. So I'll type change management in automobile industry. So my keywords are change management, automobile industry. So thinking like this way, thinking yourself as an audience and what exactly you are going to address, what exactly you are going to talk about in your thesis or in your work. On the basis of that, it's very important to have a good set of keywords, minimum 3, not less than 3, maximum up to 5 to 6. I'm talking about for research paper. As far as the research thesis going on, you can talk about your industry university's requirement, that how many keywords you should list it. Now every university have its own criteria. Okay. Now, keywords once identified, and if you all know that whenever we write an abstract for our paper, always our keywords being asked with that abstract. Okay. So if you have clearly listed out your keywords, your majority of the work done. Now I'll help you how to identify the keywords as well. Now, since in the previous step I have answered few questions which you can see on your screen, right? So the ones which are in red, what the ones which are I have put it in red, you can see that I want to study about segmentation impact, customer lifestyle, purchase behavior, and so on. Okay, I want to talk about this. Then this is also a keyword, that which research methodology I adopt, right? Then who are my respondents? So here, what I'm going to talk about, what is my research methodology, what are my research methodology, to be precise, tools. Okay, what who are my respondents and what is my results. So this I have identified as the keywords. So I come up with this. Okay, so just list of keywords I have prepared. And now you will say that, ma'am, you said that only 3 to 5. Now 3 to 5 I said, or 6 I said, when you are sending your paper for publication to somebody. No. Okay, so when you are sending your paper for any journal publication, so then at least 3, 5 to 6 keywords you should send with your abstract. Okay. Now, next step is write one long sentence with these keywords. So what I've done is I identified these keywords. Nothing I have to do. With the help of these keywords, I need to put these keywords in a meaningful sentence. That's it. Again, I'm saying, with the help of a fine English, the basic English which we all know, and I need to arrange these. I think all of you must be remember the jumble words which we used to do, right? Which we used to do in our schools. That in exams we used to get those jumble words, arrange them in a sentence. Similar technique, that I have the list of my keywords. I need to make a meaningful sentence, long sentence, with the help of those keywords, and you can add on and sprinkle, as we say, that the right kind of English in that long sentence, and your half job for research title is done. So I have arranged these keywords. With that, I come to this, that this paper is a study on interview of these many people of this area, born between this, and to assess, the rest is in front of you, right? So nothing extra I have done. Kindly keep reading, right, so that you will be able to connect it. If I'll go on reading, so you'll all find it very boring. So let me talk and you read. Okay, so nothing else has been done. Now comes the next job: create a working title. Now, why create a working title? Let me go back. This is too big, right? This is too big to be a title. This, it looks like as an abstract. So what we'll do is we'll be now progressing with working title. Now, how will we do that? First of all, you need to delete some unnecessary words. When I say unnecessary words, what I meant to say is that the words which you think can be removed and which will not change the meaning of the sentence. Okay, so what I have to do is I just have to keep the most important information with me, and that is what you can see in red. If I remove these words, my sentence formation will not lose its meaning. Again, I'm saying if I'll remove these red highlighted words, my sentence will not lose its meaning. Probably structural arrangement have to be done. Shift some words, as I said, structural arrangement, because if I'll remove some words which I may not know, main point is the context should remain same. Okay, and then rephrase it. Something like this comes. Okay, now just give a comparison between this and this. So I deleted few handful words here and I rephrase the remaining structure of sentence with me. Okay, till here anybody is having doubt, feel free to type in chat. Okay, and I'm continuing with it. Okay, now this is what we have. Still, if you see, it's quite long. You all must be thinking that, ma'am, no, this does not look like a title. Of course, this does not look like a title because it has 38 words. And I mean, who gives a title with the worth 38 words or half a paragraph, right? So let's work it more. Why? Because whenever you are writing for a journal, I'm again saying for research paper, for journals, okay, the title length is generally 16 or less words. So when I say 16 or less word, it likes like 8 to 9 words should be there, and up to 16 or 17 words the title is acceptable, and it forms in a good manner. However, when we talk about the research thesis, then what happens is, on the basis, because in research thesis, no, you are in constant consideration and constant supervision of your research supervisor as well. So his or her consent, his or her agreement should also be always be taken. Okay, so do not forget him to take into a loop or her to take into a loop. However, yes, with this approach, if you go to your supervisor, sir, my ppts will be clear once I'll make it the full screen. I hope it will be clear now. Okay, so kindly get into a consideration of your supervisor as well. Okay, now comes that, still if we say that it's 38 words, still you have extra words with you, your phrase is with you. So what you need to do is you need to delete them, the extra words, and highlight your keywords, something like this. So whatever you are seeing in red, the highlighted red text, I'm deleting it. I think that this is something extra, and this is something which I might not should give into my title. Remaining I can work upon, and I need to rephrase it. So once I did that, this is something which I come across with. Okay, so assessing the impact of customer lifestyle segmentation on their purchase behavior. Now, if you remember the first question which I just, yeah, if you remember when I started the steps of what do you call as the first question, that identify your keywords. Okay, so in that, the theme, I said the first question answers your theme. Mr. Pravash, we are talking about the keywords. Okay, when you talk about variables, you have 5 variables, somebody else can have 10 variables, 12 variables, depending upon the nature of the study. You can't consider to include all of them. So you need to, it's better that if you can club your variables and present them as a factor, or to present them as a keyword, like for example productivity and performance, you can club them, you can relate it them employee engagement, because you want to ascertain their relationship with employee engagement, so you take employee engagement as a keyword. Okay, so like this we move ahead. So what we come across is this, that yes, I did want to have a highlight through my study about the customer lifestyle segmentation on their purchase behavior. So what you can see in the black text is my main title. Okay, now what you can see in the blue text is my subtitle. Presence and absence of subtitle depends primarily on the researcher's choice. However, if I remove this subtitle through my in my example, I may have a very short main title. So my subtitle is giving a weightage to my studies title, that particularly the studies conducting into Delhi NCR or any industry if you wish to choose. So subtitle is given to your main title so as to strengthen it, so as to support it. Okay, so the role of subtitle is also to make your main title a little catchy. Majority, when you are talking about your research thesis title, you may find many research titles are being supported by your subtitle. Okay, so this was your title. Now I'll give you some factors. Please, please pay attention here, that yes, we need to look out these factors whenever we are talking about, or whenever we are writing about a particular title. Make sure your word limit 16, 17, or within that limit. Avoid jargons. Oh my god, this is something which I need to talk about. Why? Yes, Priyanka, we'll be talking about research tools there, but hopefully not here in this webinar. We'll definitely plan another one because this has a theme. Because after this, we'll be talking about background. So we'll make sure that research graduate will definitely sort out your query, and we'll definitely work upon research tools webinar for sure. Let me, give you a surety about the same. All right, now coming back to avoid jargons, but by the end of the session, I'll give you a hint about research tools, okay? Don't worry about that. So, avoid jargons and abbreviations. Basically, when you talk about jargons, these WhatsApp University has literally spoiled our language, particularly when you talk about any written form. The way we type our messages, the way we write on WhatsApp, it has actually spoiled our written language. So please do not use any such WhatsApp University language in your titles, because that has become our habit, right? We don't give a thought that we are writing it right or wrong. No, 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 we do not give that. We not even give a second thought that whether it is the right ways to be considered or not. No, we do not do that. Okay, so kindly avoid, that's a crime. Seriously, do not use any kind of abbreviations also, because your title should be crisp, precise, and understandable. Okay, now include keywords. Now, I think Mr. Ghosh, this you may find it in your answer query here, that whenever you are writing your title, you should make sure that your audience, or whosoever will read your paper, your reviewer, should understand that yes, this paper is going to talk about this. I'm not saying that you open everything about your paper in your title. No, when you talk about research title, your research title should have a keywords, or two, one or two or three, like depends upon how many you have. Not necessarily all of them will come into title, but your title should reflect the theme of the work or the study which you have conducted, and that will be done only by when you have included your keywords. Okay, last factor which I think, which majority of the researchers always struggle, that how to write the title, as in how, once your title is finalized, now how to write it on the paper or on the thesis. That, see, if you are using any functional words like the, and, it, in, right, in the middle of the title, like understanding the change management in, understanding the change management in, the in will not come into capital letters. Okay, unless and until the title is starting with the study about, a review on, so the first letter of the first word will be capital, irrespective it is functional word or the main word. No. Okay. Second thing, that you can also consider that every main word of your title starts with a capital letter, or what you can follow is every word except the first letter of your first word is capital, rest all in running. Okay. Now second thing to also to remember is whenever you are giving a subtitle to your paper, okay, so your first letter of the first word will be capital after the semicolon. Okay, so these are the factors to be considered about when you're writing a title. Now coming back to Priyanka, your how many words, Mr. Jeevan, I just said that the average journal length which journals generally accepted is 16 or 17 around, or minimum is 8 to 9. So your because why this word limit is that your title should not be too lengthy or too small. Okay. And another, coming back to Priyanka, your question. So when you talk about research tools, so basically research tools are those tools wherein you use to gather the data, the information for your research. Okay, so I think everybody does, they know about it. You take interviews, you take surveys, you take questionnaires, observations, case studies, and so on. Okay, all right. Now, coming back to your background of the study. Okay. Now, when you talk about the background of a study, generally in majority of the papers, so you must have seen that many papers does not have a subheading of as background of the study, or many papers have a subheading as background of the study. Okay, so that depends upon how your structure of the paper is. However, even if the background of the study as a subheading is there or is not there, be it present as a subheading, then you will write it as separate one. If it is not present as a subheading, that will consider as a part of introduction. Okay, so with these slides which we'll be discussing now, we are not just talking about background of the study. Consider that we are also understanding how to write the introduction of the study. Okay, because background of the study is a part of your introduction. Okay, now when you are talking about background of the study, so what you generally do, what you generally expect, or what your what your readers can expect with the background of the study. So firstly, that you need to make your readers clear that why they should read the article. Okay, and what they can look forward in the article. So this information they should get suffice while they are reading the background of the study slash introduction. Okay, then you also have to this, which is the main highlight of the background of the study. If you talk specifically about background of the study, so that generally talks about your research topic, what all have been authors, what all the previous authors, not all I'm saying, because that you will present in your literature review. You will present the major findings, the major highlights related to your topic in background. So second expectations which your reader can expect is to have the major highlights, the major authors and their explanation which happened in the past. Last, what you should write in background of the study is what is the problem context. Okay, like how did you reach this topic, like what is the gap which leads you. When you're talking about problem, you are targeting towards the research gap. Okay, so these three things, make sure that you showcase in your background of the study. Okay, now moving ahead, Introduction and background study, I think it's very important. I found it very important to let everybody understand that what exactly is the differentiation between background of the study and the introduction. Okay, let me see all of you too. So when we talk about introduction, every paper mandatory have an introduction, but every paper need not to have a background of the study, you know. So as I stated that whenever you talk about a background of study, you may not find any subheading related to background of the study in every paper, but many papers they do have. So introduction, it generally tells your reader, tells your reviewer that what is the overview of the paper or what is the overview of your thesis. On the contrary, if you talk about background of the study, it provides the reasoning that why this study is conceptualized, why we move on to this study. Okay. Again, coming back to introduction, it includes your background. If it does not have a separate subheading or background, make sure, I mean, be rest assured that background of the study will be there in introduction if you read that background introduction. Okay. And background of the study is a part of introduction. So I think it makes sense that background of the study is an integral part of your introduction. Now if you focus here, that combination of introduction, background, it explains your overview, your aim, your nature, past development, expectations, everything about what you have chosen to write about. Okay. Another thing is what I would like to say that generally, what your aim, scope, context, when you talk about all these things, so there is no hard and fast chronological order which anybody needs to follow while they are writing the background of the study. Okay. So however, when you start your introduction, you always start with overview, and rest of the chronology you can follow about the nature of your study, how you would like your work of your research study to flow. Okay. All right. Now, coming exactly to define about what is background of study. Okay. So when you talk about the background of the study, it explains that firstly, it tells you that what's your topic, what's your study is all about. See, take it as you as well. Whenever we are going through a paper, whenever we review our literature, we always expect that the paper should be clear, the paper should be precise, and we should get an idea. Generally what happens is, it happens with me a lot, that um, I get an idea about the paper. If I'm in hurry, I read primarily the abstract firstly, first few lines of introduction, and then I straight away come to the conclusion and the results. Okay. So how important the first few lines of your introduction or your background of the study is very much important, because that will help my audience to remain intact, to remain connected with my study. Okay. So your background of the study, why, it tells your author that why you are doing it, what made you to do the study. Then it also provide the main body of research investigation. That means what has what have you have come across with, what are you researching about. It also tells that your study is in what context, what particular context, what particular problem, what particular issue you are highlighting about. And then it also talks about that if there is any major historical happening. Now when I say major historical happening, then you need to look upon your topic, that what your topic has has been entailing, what it involves, what all historical trends have been viewed in your topic. Okay. All right. So let's move on. Now let's understand, guys, just okay. Now let's move on. Am I visible to everybody? Yes, I am. Okay. These are the core elements of background of the study. Okay. So when we say background of the study, make sure these elements are there in your background of the study. Okay. no matter your thesis, no matter your paper. Okay. Firstly, you need to give a brief discussion about your topic, what you are going to talk about, what you have in your hand. Then you need to inculcate that what is your main thesis statement. Okay. Then you need to talk about your problem. See, it's very important. I very much stress on this factor that please pay attention in identifying your research gap. Very importantly, it is because right kind of research gap will help you to provide a direction towards your study. Okay. So it's very important for you to play important attention time. Please pay attention and time to your literature review, and then find enough research gaps. Okay. So coming back to the main screen, your problems which you need to identify. What will be the significance of your study? Okay, what will be the significance of your study? That needs to be highlighted, that how your study will contribute, right? Because then only your author will find it useful, that whether we need to read it or we should not. Okay. Then what your researcher would like to achieve, what is your aim, and then brief highlight about your hypothesis. Okay. Brief hypothesis, when I say brief hypothesis, then I meant to say that not the entire curtain should be raised, right? It's like a trailer. The way we get the trailer of the movies, we just get the snapshots. Okay. Um that needs to be highlighted. Mr. Ghosh, here in this webinar, it will be difficult to explain the types of research gap basically, because we will be definitely entailing. However, our previous webinar was about this research gaps only. We'll work upon this. We'll be conducting again, because this current theme for this webinar is surrounded towards. However, I'll, by the end of the session, I'll make sure that I'll tell you how to identify the gaps. Okay. Okay. Now let's move on. Let's move on the real action, that how to write the background of study. Okay. First thing I would like to tell everybody that there is no particular method of writing any background study. And because this is about this, I also feel, and I would like to tell you that it's about your research acumen. It's about your, when you're writing your research thesis, it's about your research supervisor's acumen as well. So there is no hard and fast rule of writing a background of the study. However, the one which I'm showing you right now, you can follow this and your background of study will fall into structure. Okay. Okay. Now, first is you need to give a brief overview about what is your research topic. Okay. In that, whatever is your key concepts. Okay. And then how, you need to talk about that. What are the main highlights of your research topic? Now, I'm sure that all of you must be thinking that this is just theory. Let's take an example for it. I have chosen an example similar to lifestyle segmentation, with which we started developing our research title, that impact of customer lifestyle segmentation on mobile advertising. Okay. So this is the topic which I want to work upon. Now, what I'll begin with, I have already highlighted into red. That is, I want to highlight the theme of lifestyle segmentation in my study. Clear? Good to go. Then what I'll do in that, I will talk about the meaning, nature, dynamics of the term. So here I have highlighted I have begun with describing lifestyle segmentation. Okay. Now here I would like to add one point, that is, please you know, do not forget to add in text citations. Okay, because if you are talking about anything which you have adopted from the previous researches, make sure you cite it. Okay, also many researchers, including me as well, I like to start, or the beginning few lines I would like to talk about in my own language, reflecting about the theme of my study, the topic which I'm going to talk about. Okay, so you can do that too. So when you try to explain the meaning, or you're trying to give a definition to a particular concept which you would like to study in your study research work, please cite it. Okay, so that's what I have done. Then comes the nature and the dynamics. So, next is to talk about the nature and the dynamics of lifestyle segmentation, wherein I have again explained that what exactly is involved in segmentation. Like, you divide your market, you divide your business, you divide you on the basis of needs and interest of your customer. This also needs to be cited, because anything, okay, make sure anything which you are writing in your research work needs to be backed upon by proof. When I say by proof, it can be your research finding, your data which you have collected, which is analyzed. If not that, then your literature review. Okay, then moving on. Next step is, now we will be talking about research gap. Now here I would like to give a special reference to Mr. Ghosh. Mr. Ghosh, when we talk about research gap, these research gaps are, because I have to explain you research gap as well, before we move ahead. Research gap primarily is that area which you think has not been paid enough attention, paid not at all paid any attention. If you think that while doing literature there are many aspects which could have been covered, which are not being covered, or which are incompletely covered, okay, they are called as research gap. Okay, and that you identify once you are doing your literature review. So these research gaps are primarily the problems which you want to address, which you want to give your solution. So that all of us, we agree saying that our research is actually either highlighting a problem or giving a solution to a problem too. Okay, so research gaps are those highlighted problem. Okay, all right, now you need to discuss that. So as I have discussed that the research gap is that problem which needs to be addressed, which needs your attention. That's why we are called as researcher. Search, 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 and then comes out something which have not been explored. Okay, then research gaps also gives a direction to your study. Okay, it gives direction to your study, that where you want to take where you want to take your research to, what you want to actually study in your research. Okay, so this direction is provided to you by research gap. Okay, now that's why again a humble request to all of you researchers, that please spend enough time on reviewing the literature. That does not mean that you keep on reviewing the literature only, but a well reviewed literature will be able to guide you towards a well defined research gap. Otherwise, what happen is, if we do not pay attention to our literature review and we write something on XYZ research gap, we say that okay, fine, it is a research gap. Many a times your journals send your paper backs stating that the lot of work has been done. Many of you must have received this feedback on your work done. Okay, so that's why I know that it takes time, but spending time in initial stages, it's always advisable, instead of spending zero time or less time. Okay, so it's my advice, suggestion to everybody, please pay enough attention to your literature review so that you can find good research gap. Then, coming back to our example, so after reviewing the literature about segmentation and its impact of customer lifestyle on their purchase behavior or mobile advertising, one thing which was found that attitudes, it's very important aspect of individual lifestyle. Okay, but studies, they have talked about demographic characteristics like age, gender, education, and so on. But limited studies, they are talking about consumer attitude. Now, if I'm saying this, I should have proof for this, which I have. Now, these authors, they say that consumer attitude, they have impact on mobile advertising, whether the people accept it or reject it. And consumer attitude would also have, showcase the preference towards mobile advertising. Now, I have said here that I have found limited studies. Okay. So I'm not saying that attitude has not been worked upon ever. Okay. I'm not saying that I have not found any, no work done at all. That also happens. But I have found very limited aspect of this area which has been addressed by the previous authors. Okay, we found a contradiction in our LR. Could we consider it as a see? When you talk about contradiction in literature review, that some authors are saying some and some or are saying the other perspective. So that is difference in viewpoints. Okay, that is not a research gap. So because you might have a different research acumen than me, I may have taken some different variables, you have taken different variables. Even if our variables are same, so your research perception can be different than my research perception. However, when you say that you want to, review, there are many studies where you are presenting a review, then you can, present this contradiction. Some people, they don't say background, say introduction. Exactly, that's why I said, when I was talking about background of the study, that in many research papers you may not find a specific headline as background of the study. You will find it as introduction only. It is there. There is no need of confusion. Whatever we are learning through these slides or through this session, you may apply the same concept while writing your introduction as well. Okay, so rest assured, yes, there is no confusion. It's just about your structure of the paper. If there is no subheading as background of the study, if you read the introduction, everything which we are learning here, it is in there in introduction. Okay, so this way, follow this way, you will be sorted with your introduction also, don't worry. Okay, now I'm done till here. I have already discussed the problem or the gap. Please, guys, make sure that you be attentive towards these dialog box, because there will be a surprise related to them. Now, third thing is, state the goal of your study. What do you want to do? Okay, what researcher aims to determine. Now, here also, if you see, what I want to determine, I want to determine the impact of attitude as an customer lifestyle important aspect of customer lifestyle. What I have done is, I have done no rocket science. If you see, I have identified the impact of attitude as a research gap. Using the English, whatever I have stated as a goal of study. Obviously, whatever is your research gap, you want to study that only, right? So that becomes your goal of your study. Okay, so what I want to do is, I want to understand the impact of attitude as an important aspect on customer lifestyle. Okay, sorted. But we are not yet done. Okay, again, there is a piece of advice to all of you. I have seen many papers where researchers just abruptly end any subtopic which they are writing in their thesis or in paper. Even thesis I have seen that deteriorates your quality of the work. Okay, that reduces the quality of your work. Kindly give a very fine finesse to your every subheading, not only your introduction or background, to your research methodology, also to your discussion, also to your conclusion is also. Make sure that your reader, your reviewer should not find himself or herself saying, what happened, what is this, I mean, are we done, is this concluded? This feeling should not come. Okay, so please end your background of the study as well, very finely. And how will we do that? We will do by this. So your research study statement needs to be articulated. So whatever is your statement of argument, whatever your possible contribution of the study, you will highlight that. Okay, and then you will be doing that. Here we are highlighting the statement of argument, so that that researcher is saying that there is a very important need, there is a dire need to understand the segmentation on mobile advertisement, because it will enable to highlight the role of attitude as well. Okay, so again, if you see, if you focus on these three lines of this dialog box, you will see that the role of attitude is again coming into picture. Okay, is again coming as an important aspect of lifestyle. Okay, so if you see, that's why I told you that that since the beginning, research gap always find its space somewhere or the other while you are writing your introduction or the background. Okay, it always find a space. Okay, so when I say that research gap, I stated it as it is. When I said goal, it was a refined version, it was a rephrased version of my research gap only. Okay, before I move on, there is a question: is it good for doing research work on an existing one to extend or to select new one? See, when you talk about Shamli, that existing work, okay, so that means you want to add on some variables, or you want to give a new perspective. That is also okay. If you want to find upon completely new research gap or completely new topic, that is also fine. Fine. However, just one piece of suggestion, others might differ me saying, but that's my opinion, that choose a topic wisely, or choose a area of concern wherein you have enough literature review. When I say enough, I do not say that lot of work is available already, a lot of people have worked upon. No, not like that. And also not where there is dearth of literature review, where there is no literature at all. So choose wisely. Yes, the answer of your question is yes, you can you know you can extend the existing one, and you can choose a new one also. Thank you, professor, thank you so much, thank you so much. All right, so here what we have done is we have stated our argument, holding the hand of our research gap only. We are just taking our research gap ahead. Because why I have broken down background of the study, because many of the queries of my own students have come to me many a times, that how what we are doing repetition. Okay, yes, exactly, because research gap only will give your direction. I stated that. So it will give your paper a goal, it will give the statement of argument in your paper, it is the problem statement of your study. Okay, so you need to rephrase it, and then you need to present it. Okay, because we are not applying some chemistry, we have a research gap, on that only our entire research work is going to be established. So that needs to become again. Now what we need to do is we need to highlight the significance, that how our study will be important or is going to contribute. Now here, the significance which you are seeing is just a snapshot of our significance. Okay, when I say snapshot of our significance, I meant to say that in the introductory part, on the background part, we will just reflect that what is the contribution, or what will be the contribution of our study. However, in the later section of our study, where we practical implication, contribution of the study, significance of study, then we elaborate. Okay, then we elaborate our that how understanding the importance of attitude can help the academicians, can help the managers, can help the organization to develop their new product, and so on, develop their marketing strategies, and so on. So that will be in detail. Here we give a snapshot of our significance. So here, like, if I would like to write about the significance of my research example which I have taken, I will say that understanding about attitude is as an important component of customer lifestyle, will play a role in mobile advertisement. Okay, all right. Now What should be the opening paragraphs of the study? Okay, this questions comes now. How to start? Now you will ask me what were we doing now. So whatever we will be doing, so you just need to put everything. See the magic. If you pay attention here, I told you, that whatever dialogue box we are coming across with, whatever, since the step one, explaining the meaning, then research gap, then goals and study of the document, I'll just, play in full screen. If you see, then every dialogue box I have picked up and I have put it in here. Okay, no rocket science, no extra efforts, just what I have done, I have put it in here. Make sure that your in-text citations are well in place. All right. Okay, coming on. Now we'll come upon the main body. That was the introduction part. Okay, then come across the main body of the background of the study. Again, I'm saying you can follow the same technique for introduction as well. When we say main body, this main body should be having, enough proofs, because as I told you that whatever we say in research, okay, it will not be accepted unless it is backed up by the proofs. All right, so enough proofs should be there. Yes, from the review of literature, research gap will be known, then a statement of probability. Yes, exactly. Very well said. That your research gaps will be identified by a thorough literature review, which will give eventually. Then, if you are good on your research gap, your direction of the review or your entire study will be set upon. Okay, maybe we want a lecture on synonyms or search term on how to distinguish. We'll plan upon it. We'll definitely work upon it. Okay, thank you so much for suggestion. Thank you so much. Okay, then here we are talking about the main body of our work. So I told you that whatever all has been done in the past, researches. So if in my example I'm saying that researches and study, they talk about the understanding of customer behavior, how it is influenced by attitude and so on. If I'm stating something, I should have proof for that. Why? Because all those who are from marketing, they must be knowing with Eisen is a very important theory. Eisen is a very important author to understand the consumer behavior. Okay. So if I'm stating a statement, I need to have a proper proof for that. Okay. So this is what I have said. Obviously, like according to researches and studies based on that, so and so attitudes play an important role in mobile advertisement. Why I say so? Because Eisen also have explained the same. Okay, so these two boxes are basically, they are giving each other a support. All right. Okay, then while the initial knowledge, this is again by the researcher. Okay, that when the researcher conducted the interviews, so researcher also learned that customers have positive attitude towards online advertisement. So not only the background studies, like previous studies, they talk about attitude as an important aspect. Few studies, also the researcher also have identified the same relationship. Are you getting what I'm saying? So what you are saying or what you want to say with your study, first you will back the same according to what has been said by the previous authors. Now this question comes to me generally, that if your research gap is completely, never been worked upon, so it's very important to see or to provide the proof in terms of some related theories. Thank you, Mr. Hari. Some related theories, some related models. If that particular work is not being done into your industry, into your country or that region, maybe the similar work has been done in some other one. Okay, so it's very important. Yes, that according to your problem statement, your objectives needs to be arranged. That is, that is the remaining work, how your research flow down. Coming back to what I was saying, that if your research gap is completely nascent, right? So related work you need to identify, relate, because as I said, anything which you put across in your statement as a statement in your research study should be backed upon by the proof. Okay, so make sure that if not in your region, if not in your area, if not in your industry, some related aspect you identify that requires a lot of literature review. Okay, so once you've done that, nothing I have done, again I'm taking you back, all these three dialog box are being put together and it's look like this. Kindly give a read to it. Nothing, what researcher wants to set, my statement. Why I want to say that, because yes, I have proof that authors in the previous researches when they conducted, they also have said the same thing. And then what I have found in my study. Okay, now coming back to you all, that whenever you write the research background for your thesis, okay, then your this body of your background study will be enlarged. Okay, here because we are presenting in a concise manner, so there, that's why it is concise. But when you talk about your research thesis, since the body of the work is large, you need to write 100 of pages, then in that case you need to include a lot of work. You will talk about your different variables, hint about the variable, detail will be discussed in literature review, but yes, you'll be talking about the relationships, you'll be talking about the highlights of the variable and the related studies, which will enable the reviewer, which will enable the audience to establish a connect with the study. Okay, all right. So I hope you all can see that how easy and how free flowing kind of work is this. Okay, now we have done the opening statement for our background, we have done with the main body. Same rule is applicable for introduction, so you can say that opening statement for the introduction, main body of the introduction, you can say that too. Okay, then conclusion, how do you conclude? So again, your research gap and main goal, whatever you have said in the introductory part of your background, again that will come. Okay, so hence you have started up with the topic, what all has been done in the past, what all you want to stay in your argument, and then your problem again, your research gap, and why you want to conduct the study. Again, it will be rephrased. Okay, no rocket science, nothing. So whatever I have taken as a research gap, whatever I have taken as a research gap, I will rephrase it and I will put it across in the conclusion of my introduction slash background. Okay, so I have definitely find that an attitude is being limitedly studied, not much have been studied, and that's what my goal is, to understand that how attitude is an important component, or identifying the role of attitude in important as an important aspect on mobile advertising when I'm talking about the customer behavior, purchasing behavior. Okay, now one thing I would like to talk to you, like tell to you everybody, that as I already stated, that no there is no particular style of writing a background of the study, so you may choose, you can go ahead with the preferred way of rephrasing, the preferred direction which you want to give to you, the rephrasing of your sentences, that entirely in your stage. But make sure there is no plagiarism, very importantly, you need to avoid that. Second thing, wherever it is needed, because I am sure that that research gap and main goal of the study does not require any kind of what do you say citations, but your main body and introduction does need, do not forget to give that. Okay, else you will be falling into the trap of plagiarism, right? Then whatever we have done till now, like I'll take you back, just give me a little opportunity to take you back to all the main, like this was our opening paragraphs, take this was our main body, take this, just in the same order, so first paragraph, then this one, and this one, combine them all. you will be reached to your background of the study, nothing else. So you have your opening paragraphs, you have your main body of the work, you have your conclusion. Okay, what I wanted to show through this example was that the flow with which you want to go ahead with. So when you're talking about, that's why I have highlighted that when you're talking about introduction or opening paragraph, what should become. Okay, when you're talking about main body, what should come. When you're talking about conclusion, what should come. Now, this may look small to you because of the structural format in which we are presenting. Depending upon the work length of your research, like is it a paper, it is a thesis, you may decide that how much you want to incorporate in each part of your background of the study. Okay, how lengthy you want to have the conclusion, how lengthy or how many citations, how many previous work you want to showcase in your body of paragraph, and how lengthy you want to showcase your opening paragraphs. That completely depends upon the kind of research work you are doing, the length of research work. Okay. Okay, so this was all from my side. So now we are open for research questions. All right, and before I end the webinar, everything will be emailed to you, and so please make sure that you check your email IDs. Thank you so much for an amazing audience, for an interactive audience. Few tips I would like to give when we talk about introduction and background, before we move ahead to the question and answer round. That do not get confused, okay, between introduction and background. They are basically, when you say that, siblings of each other, right? Few journal papers, they have a specific headline calling as background of the study. Few, they do not have. So when you do the literature review, you'll automatically find, I think, I'm sure after this webinar you will be you'll find that when you read introduction, it may include background of the study if it is not given separate. Okay, so this is all from the slides perspective from my side. Now let's interact with each other, since it's a platform where a lot of learned people are here, a lot of researchers are here, so it will be my pleasure to connect with you all. And also, if anybody of you is finding any difficulty in their research work, in their any kind of research, any stage you are stuck at, you find that I am not able to go beyond this, I'm not able to do this, feel free to connect with research graduates. So we have our team of experts, we have people who can support you, who can guide you, who can provide our their expert assistance in taking your research to another level. And it will be our pleasure if we can contribute in whatever amount of contribution we would like to get connected, and we would like to get contribute to your research work. So feel free. All right, now the session is open for the question and answers. Yes, Supriya, kindly elaborate between the research topic and title. For sure, for sure. Yeah, so see, when you talk about that's this is the point with which we started our webinar, that when you talk about research topic, it's a wider domain. Okay, it's a wider domain. Now, for example, you are a marketing person. Okay, you wanted to understand the marketing strategies of any organization, any industries. So that's a very wide topic. Okay, now you want to narrow it down. You actually narrow it down, your research topic, to come to a research title. Research title is a specific work name given to your research study or your research thesis, because under the umbrella of topic there can be n number of title. Okay, now title reflects your specification of the problem chosen or the theme of the paper. Topic is a wider domain. Which topic I want to work on? I want to work on in the domain of HR. I want to work on change management. Now change management what? Next question means change management what? I want to work on leadership. Now, leadership what? Okay. What specific inputs you want to portray through your research work? That is your research title. Thank you so much, Vishwas. Thank you so much. I hope I'm clear with this. If not, please kindly leave your comments in the chat box, Supriya, if it's satisfying. If not, please ask again. I'll explain you again. No problem. Please, guys, it's not, don't consider it as a question and answer. If you don't want to have any answer, please provide your inputs as well, because there are so many researchers here. We all are. In fact, me also. Do consider me as a researcher also. So I'm also here to learn with you. Thank you so much, Supriya. Thank you. So please share your experiences as well, which will be helpful to all of us. Okay. We are here from across the globe, and we have people from different parts of the world. So it'll be a pleasure if we can, get all these researchers from different part of the world to connect. And if you are not asking the question, I think I'll ask you the question. Okay. How many of us are actually writing a research paper? Can anybody tell me? I'm saying paper, not the thesis. Then we can say that research domain and research topic is same in same part. We take research topic from the domain. HR is my domain. Change management is my topic. Understanding change management healthcare in Delhi NCR is my title. Did I answer your query, Industry? In the domain of HR, I'm taking my topic, and under the third topic, I'm taking my title, refining my topic to a title. Is it clear? Thank you so much, Ashikala. Thank you so much. Industry, please, can you leave a comment? Is it clear? If not, then I'll explain you again. And please, I'm coming back to you. See, I'm a teacher. I'm very bad in asking questions. I keep on throwing questions to my audience. So here, thank you so much. So here, my question is, how many of us are writing paper? I'm writing one. Thank you, doctor. Thank you, Dr. Padmaka. Thank you so much. Oh my God, it is our indeed a pleasure. I think it is a pleasure that to get connected with a learned person like you, who have already created a mark in the field of research. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Would you like to share your experiences, that how do you go about writing the papers, and would you like to share something on at your end related to the research aspect, so that we and other researchers can also learn something? I asked the others also. Meanwhile, Dr. Padmakar types that how many of us are writing paper. I'm like, I'm writing one. How about others? And how many of us are? Thank you, Supriya. Thank you so much. How many of us are PhD scholars here? Okay, Menza on computational work by DFT work on iron-based superconductors. How can we calculate transition? Oh my God! Thank you so much. Okay, okay. So, Menza, I'm having a little confusion on you're asking me how can you calculate the transition temperature of the materials, or you are telling me your title, and you need to little elaborate about your work slightly. You need to little elaborate for fetching for me to fetch some inputs to your. Thank you, Menza. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Okay, Mr. Sunil, you are writing a paper. Okay, doctor is working on thesis of banking technology, perceptions of customers. Very nice, indeed, very nice. And in fact, the way these days the banking technology operations have completely changed. The digitalization has seen, especially post-pandemic. I'm sure that you must be talking about that also in your thesis, that how the complete digitalization of, because many banks in the Western world also, they are trying to get completely digitalized, right? And how that digitalization is impacting their customer perception. I'm sure this will be a great study to read about. Make sure that, sir, we read, all of us, we read about your work. It will be indeed a pleasure. Okay, so Mr. Doroswamy is writing a paper in engineering. Very nice, very nice. Thank you so much, Satna. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. So, anything, anybody, anything that you would like to contribute, you would like to add on something to the seminar or to the webinar also, you would like to say something about, okay, Mr. Ghosh is writing your synopsis. So, Mr. Ghosh, I'm sure your title must be in a process of getting finalized, right? You must be at a stage of finalizing your topic. Thank you so much, Mr. Ghosh. Thank you so much. My thesis: psychological impact, sensation, or insider threat in responding to phishing email through international violation. Very nice, Sur. Very nice. Okay, okay, Mr. Ghosh, your topic must be getting finalized. Right, right, right. Responding to phishing email through international. Yes, I think, Asfur, you are targeting about cybersecurity and its issue also, right? If I'm not wrong. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Doctor. That, if it's indeed this webinar can be a help to us, including me as also, because I'm also learning so many things from your comments, all of your comments. So it can be a webinar, because I think research scholars, we are not individuals. We are a community. So we need to. Yes, Asur, right? You're talking about cybersecurity issues. I think your work will very be interested. So you're talking about you are also focusing upon how to educate your audience about cybersecurity issues, or you just understanding their psychological impacts. That's what my question is. I want to understand your topic a little more. Okay, Mensa. Okay, you're writing about your synopsis. Okay, great, great, great. Mr. Sunil is a data analysis. My topic is information seeking behavior of teacher trainees. Oh, would you like to elaborate a little more? You are talking about how the teachers are curious in how their behavior shows the curiosity to learn something new. Is it, am I right or not? Like when the teachers showcase the behavior, because this also shows them that if the teacher is always open to learn, the same will be inculcated to the students by him or her. If I'm right, then also, if I'm not right, then also please comment, Mr. Sunil. And Afsur, you also, okay, 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 great, great, great. That's indeed a very nice, because that's one of the very important factor when you talk about student development, when you talk about education as a whole, the development of all. It's indeed very important that a teacher should always consider himself or herself as a learner. We should not get into the class thinking that we will be delivering something. We should always think that we will be, not only will be delivering something, we'll be taking back something, some learnings we'll be taking back as well. Right. Okay, I'll take the questions one by one. Ma'am, you tell us to go through some light on identifying research gap at the okay, yes, Ms. Supriya. Okay, so when we talk about research gap, no, Ms. Supriya, that research gaps you identify that once you are done with your literature review, or while you go with the literature review, okay, that I'll suggest that, whenever you're doing a literature review, always try to, summarize. I'm sure that a previous webinar which we delivered was on the same theme. We'll try if we can deliver the same again in a couple of sometimes weeks. So when you are reviewing the literature, you highlight the main attraction or the main attentive details of that particular literature, and then by comparing or by reviewing those literature aspects, highlights of different work which you have studied, you come to know, you come to know, understand that this work has been done and this work has not been done, because while you review the literature, your research acumen develop. Okay, so you come across with so many questions that this should have been done, this is not touched, this variable should be included. Make sure you note down those questions. Okay, and if you find the answer of few questions in the literature only, cut them off. But the questions which you are unable to find a concrete answer or any fulfilling answer, you can progress those questions with as research gap. Okay, this is the way we should go ahead with the research gap, that any probable questions after studying the literature review which you come across, if you have the answer in your literature review, If, for example, if you find an article, you think this particular variable is not taken here, you note it down. But on coming across to 10th literature, you said that, okay, fine, that literature was not, that variable was not covered in that literature, but it is covered here. That is answered, though that is crossed. That question cannot be converted into research gap because already that work is done. Okay. Okay. Now I will take Dr. Savalika's question that how many, yes, sir, when it comes to review of literature, how students should go for project work. If it's a MBA level project work, okay, if it's an MBA level project work, so I think depending upon the time prosody and in my opinion, 50, 60 articles are okay. I may be sounding too much, but I'm a very biased researcher when it comes to research workers. We suggest 20 25 previous studies. Yes, you can go for why 50 55. I'll tell you the reason for the same. Because out of 50 55 students read thoroughly only 30, 20 they just glanced upon. Okay, so I always give a buffer of 15 or 20 research paper extra, so that being a teacher, if we are telling them read about 50, so the thorough literature would be done only on the basis of 30 or 25. So yes, ideally 2025 is ideal for people who, or students who are doing MBA research works, the dissertation which they are in. Thank you, Ahmed. Thank you, Mr. Ahmed. Okay, Mr. Ghosh, the impact of CSR activities on the brand loyalty of students of management institutes in India. Oh my God, very touchy topic you have taken. Okay. Um, so you are talking about how the CSR activities of the institutes, they help in creating the image or the brand amongst the students in the market. If I'm wrong, please correct me. Can research title come from the statistical analysis used? Of course it can come, and many a times, that's why if you have seen in the lecture that there was one of the question that which technique or tool I have taken, right? Or what was the respondents you know demographic of my study. So when you are focusing, when your study is focusing upon the research methodology, because when you do the literature review, many literature you review on the basis of the research methodology you did do. Yes, your research title can definitely come from the research statistical analysis used. However, you do not name, you do not say that chi-square or ANOVA VSE. You say that a qualitative study or a quantitative aspect. You use terminologies like that. Okay. So, Mr. Khan, your title of the thesis is Molecular Characterization of MBL Producer Among Carbapenem Resistance. Can you please tell me a novelty about of this? Oh my God, this is I think Mr. Khan, are you purely a pharma student? If I'm not wrong. Does it mean that conclusion is repeated in several places at abstract and introduction at the end of? Yes, Alzine, that when you're talking about conclusion, right? So conclusion needs to be repeated, as in, I will not say the word repeated, I will say rephrased. Okay, rephrased is the word which you need to use. Repeated is not the word, but yes, you rephrase it at the end of your introduction or at the end of your study. Abstract anyhow, it has to have a conclusion, because what is your contribution of your study needs to be elaborated in your abstract. Then only people can understand of the journal that whether this paper is worth publishing or not. So rephrasing of the word, rephrasing is the word is needs to be used. I asked Mr. Question Nadeem that are you a pharma student? If you are a pharma student, then I think all those who does not know the novelty, what is the novelty of a topic, the novelty of the topic means that which is the new aspect, or what is the new area, or what is the new contribution, what is the new variable your study is going to contribute. Okay. So when you talk about the novelty of this particular topic, I think if because this is a very technical topic in terms of your own domain, so I may be having a very restrictive knowledge. For this, you'll have to refer an expert of this particular field only. Okay, I can tell you what is the novelty of in general of a topic, what is being called as, which I have just told, and what is the new contribution, what is the new thing which you are added, which you are adding. Okay. Yes, doctor, that that they have to go for detailed knowledge, because when we at masters level, when we tell them to go for literature review, so for their major focus is only to complete a study just for the sake of completion of the course. The true realization and the true importance of literature review comes when we come at our research journey, or we start with the PhD and we begin with our research work. Then we realize, okay, yes, reviewing the literature review was this much important. Okay. Anybody else would all like to say something? Also, Mr. Khan, if you want to check the novelty of this topic, again, that can be done by the literature. And in your domain, what is, or what are the kind of the previous work has been done? Okay, what all are the previous work has been done? Okay, so how many of us are research scholars? I mean, in terms of PhD, how many of us are doing PhD? Ah, Mr. Ahmed. Okay, okay. So, okay. Tell me more about your PhD topic and what stage you guys are. So, Mr. Ghosh, if I say that you are studying about the impact of, if I'm not wrong, and let me go back to the CSR activities. Also, make sure. Yes, Mr. Khan, I heard it. I guessed it that you must be related to something related to the science aspect only. I was a science student, but only till my graduation I did my zoology honors. So that's why I could make out some terminologies. But if you want to check the novelty of this topic, so then you have to take on the previous studies in consideration. Okay. Yes. Public management, Mr. Usman. Okay, great, great. I'm a data analysis stage. Okay, great, great. Very nice, very nice. I was saying something to Mr. Ghosh that. When you're talking about the impact of CSR activities, right? So do make sure that what kind of contribution these days, because CSR does takes a lot about student welfare also, because there is a very limited understanding about CSR, that people only talk about what is the company or what is the institute is doing towards society and the what do you say, that society and environment. But a very important concept, that people welfare, people those who are associated with that organization or with that institute. Make sure, I don't know, I mean, I'm sure you must be working upon that aspect as well. Please make sure that student welfare, how much the institute is taking care of student in terms of their extracurricular development, in terms of their holistic development, should also be included. I mean, that's my suggestion. Okay, Elzine, you are writing a proposal now. My pleasure, Mets. My pleasure. My pleasure. Okay. My best advice for all the scholars here would be that kindly, whatever stage of research you are at, kindly take that seriously. Reason being, there are n number of researchers around the world who are currently working in the research domain. I'm saying research domain. Okay, so please focus on your each aspect of your study. If you're doing literature review, starting with, if you're selecting a topic, give yourself thorough understanding. Moving on to literature review, spend some time with yourself, do the justice with your research methodology, because that's the part where majority of this research scholar fall back. Okay, and being a part of research graduate, I think I'll be happy that you guys, if you need any kind of assistance, please feel free to get back to research graduate. But this is the point where you know um, that spend some time to your research methodology, because once that research methodology is gone, entire literature review, all that hard work which you have done will be in vain. So whatever stage you are at, my suggestion is spend some time there, use your research acumen wisely. Okay. Okay, Ms. Zoe. Okay, Ms. Zoe, that yes, I mean, the link, the webinar link will be provided. I'll ask the team to email you the webinar link as well. And thank you so much that you watched the webinars again. Thank you so much. Yes, Mr. Ghosh, I think the student welfare aspect in CSR needs to be elaborated and needs to be highlighted, because it's not only about the curriculum and its education, it's also about that how the institute is contributing to the holistic development of the students, because there is a strong dire need of establishing a, what do you say that, effective supply of good management graduates to the corporates, which can be done only if the institute is doing well on CSR aspect on student welfare term. Okay, Mr. Khan, what is the new and research project and how it is outcome benefit mankind? Question is, please tell me, ma'am. Okay, so your question is, what is the new in the research project and how it is outcomes beneficial to? See, if you're talking about your particular topic, Mr. Khan, that you're working upon microbiology. Okay, so you will have to see corporate citizen behavior of the institute, right? I'll come to you, Mr. Ghosh, just in a while. Let me answer Nadeem. See, I would not be able to comment at this time, because you have just known about your topic, sorry, your title and a topic, and because you have said that you have taken such questions. Okay, so for that, without going through the work done in the literature, what you have conducted, what you have done, it will be an injustice to comment on the questions right now. Okay, and also because for your kind of topic like microbiology, uh, to comment on such questions, the expert opinion needs to be there. Okay, like yes, Mr. Ghosh, corporate citizenship behavior of the institute, yes, indeed it's important, and how they are involving student in this needs to be highlighted again. Okay, if there are any more questions, feel free to comment, and if you are done, then we can pursue towards ending this webinar. It's lovely interacting with all of you. I hope the webinar was worthy for all of you to attend. Please feel free, in any case you feel any, yes, your respondents will be students, and yes, you may involve, you may, but you may need to touch upon the management of the institutes as well, in order to ascertain that whatever CSR activities they want to portray, are these CSR activities being understood by the students in the same way or not. Okay, you need to ascertain this aspect as well, whether what is institute is doing, it is being understood by the students or not. Just a suggestion, rest you can work upon it. So please feel free, guys, whatever issues if you have come across, let's not the research stop down. Yes, awareness, true, true. So please, you can get in touch with research graduate any point in time for any of the services or any of the assistance you need in your research journey. It will be our pleasure to work with you guys. Yes, you need to refine, you need to reframe CSR from student perspective, like awareness. Yes. Okay, so yes, all those who would like to rewatch, you'll be getting the link. I'll ask the team to do this honors. Okay, and with these such kind of webinars, and you can get in touch with research graduate also, because as an entity, it's very difficult to get in touch with such institute which helps you in every stage of research. Okay, so let's not get stuck anywhere. Whenever you feel like, please, I mean, feel free to get in touch with us. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for a very interactive audience. We shall meet again in some other series of webinar, and let's continue this research journey. Happy learning. Thank you so much. Thank you, everybody. Thank you so much for attending.